When I was growing up, I didn't question really how much I thought about food. I really just thought, yeah, I just got unlucky. I think about food a lot. I like food too much. And I would look at my sister, who I was so jealous of her because she would just be able to eat whatever she wanted without any issue. She was always weight stable, didn't really think that much about food. And that was my biggest sort of mirror growing up, to tell me that I wasn't particularly normal, as it were, with food. But I never thought I could be like her. That was a question that didn't even cross my mind. I very much thought, this is just my cross to bear in life. I'm always going to struggle with food. I'm always going to want to overeat. And I've always got to be on some kind of diet to manage my weight. And it was really hard because I would think about food constantly. And I mean that literally. There was not a shadow of doubt in my mind that my life would be so much better if I was thinner. Not a shadow. I was desperately insecure about the fact that my weight would fluctuate. I'd feel really good while it was going down, really confident, really outgoing, like I could be myself, and then as it would start to go back up, I would feel insecure. I wouldn't want to see anyone. I remember once I didn't see my dad. I didn't want to see my dad. My parents were divorced, and I was living with my mum, and I didn't want to see my dad for months because I'd gained weight, and my journals were just filled with numbers, whether it was weight or calories, just pages and pages, journals and journals and journals. It was all I cared about, all I was focused on. And the thing that was so heartbreaking for me to reflect back on to my younger self, giving her a lot of compassion, is that I did not feel that she could speak to anyone about it. It was very much something that I had to navigate on my own, because I was so ashamed. I just didn't even question it. I thought, well, there's something wrong with me, I don't want people to know that I've got a problem with eating too much, that I can't control myself around food. This is not a kind of a problem, as it were, that I need help with. This is a me problem. So it didn't even cross my mind to ask for help. When I was 15, I was very restrictive and I lost a whole bunch of weight, and I felt so good about the attention and the worry that I was receiving over that. I felt horrendous mentally, I was really hungry. It took everything I had to do. So mentally and in terms of my life, it was horrendous, but I felt so good about the attention that I was getting. And so when my weight started to climb, when I entered the restriction and binge eating part of my relationship with food, I did not want anyone to know that I was dealing with it. I just felt so embarrassed and so ashamed that I now couldn't control my way of eating. And I remember crying to my mum when I was about 17, saying I just wish that I could have that level of control back again. And then after that, for the next few years, as I was struggling internally, I just didn't tell anyone about it. I didn't know it was something that could be solved, that could be healed, that it could be fixed. I didn't know that I could be like my sister and just be normal with food and at peace with food. And this is such a dangerous trap that I see so many people get into. For very understandable reasons, this narrative starts to form. The more you're failing at diets and the more that you're seemingly failing at controlling your weight, this narrative starts to form of, this is a me problem. There's something wrong with me. I just like food too much. And it's completely misunderstood what the problem is. And then they feel so deeply ashamed and embarrassed that they're not asking for help. They're not learning about disordered eating and what creates it, because they don't view that to be their problem. The solution always seems like another diet. I just need to find the right plan. I just need to find the right diet that's going to help me. And then comes the diet break and then the binge eating, and it just reinforces that narrative of, look, see, I can't be trusted with food. And the solution always seems to be another diet for lack of knowing where else to turn. And it's like this hole just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It's so unnecessarily. My problem was not that I like food too much. My problem was not that I get a lot of cravings. My problem wasn't that I can't be trusted around food. You know, today I have a normal and healthy relationship with food. I barely think about food if I'm not hungry. Eat freely without over or under eating. I'm totally peaceful, just no struggle whatsoever. I am like my sister, as it were. If you're struggling with food, you deserve to have proper answers about why you struggle. You deserve to really understand that. You deserve to understand the nature of your problem, what it is really. And you deserve help. And you deserve to know that there is so much hope, not found in another diet, not more control, but by actually developing a healthier relationship with food and knowing how to do that. If you're interested in learning more about what is a healthy relationship with food, then I highly recommend that you check out this video that I made where I walk you through tangibly, this is what a healthy relationship with food is. And then after that, we go on to look at how can someone develop a healthy relationship with food if it resonates with you and if it's something that you want, which I think it probably would be. I've also made another video on watch this if you believe that you'll always struggle with food, because of course when you've spent years dieting and binge eating and not being able to get a handle on your food, of course it feels like I'm always going to struggle with this. And in that video I'm laying out why it makes perfect sense you would feel like that, and how actually there's some blind spots and some missing links that you may be missing, and why in fact you probably can have a normal and healthy relationship with food. And if you're new to all of this, maybe it's the first time you've even heard about the concept of a healthy relationship with food, or it's the first time you're kind of really thinking about the nature of your problem as disordered eating and not something else, and you have questions, then please just, if you're comfortable, you can leave them down below and I'll be very happy to pick a few to answer them. And you might be asking, who on earth am I to answer those questions, which would be a fair question. I'm not only someone who has lived through it and developed a healthy relationship with food, I'm a clinical nutritionist. I studied that for 3 years as a base. I also studied the psychology of eating disorders. I've also studied cognitive behavioral therapy for eating disorders. And I suppose more importantly than that, I have been working in this field, helping people move from disordered eating, feeling very out of control with food, binge eating, to develop a healthy relationship with food. I've been doing that for years. Clients of mine consistently, now and very predictably, get better. So this is an area and a journey that I know inside out, back to front, left to right, and may be able to offer some helpful insights for you if you have some questions. I'll leave those 2 videos that I mentioned down below. Highly recommend that you check them out just as a gentle next place to explore if you think it could be helpful for you. And I have so many other videos on this channel as well relating to this particular struggle in developing a healthy relationship with food, and you're very welcome to check out the rest of my channel if you think it would be helpful. Thank you so much for watching, lovelies, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.